Good morning, everyone. So I had a form and function seminar this weekend, and I had school then yesterday, and some of the girls were asking questions, and I'm like, oh good, finally, questions I know the answers to, because I feel like in school half the time I feel really confused, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm like, but there's something about these seminars that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, some of this anatomy stuff, super confusing, lots of big words, but like this form and function, like it makes sense. And I realized how it makes sense for me and the massage therapy stuff and why it makes sense for me is it's like, because I can feel it too. Like, and so I realized, I was going to do kind of like a little explanation video to see if I can explain the concept to you guys so that you can feel it too. And it's easier for you guys to understand the concept. So the form and function seminar was all about the big word he used, obliquities. And the guy who teaches it, his name is Doug, and I'm sorry, I don't remember his last name. Amazing, phenomenal person. Very kind, very easy to understand, good teacher. And so, obliquities, that's when our hips are up, okay? One hip's higher than the other. So one of the things, I wonder, hang on, let me get my earbuds, and we'll see if the earbuds will give us, this is why people told me I should get a microphone, I bet, but maybe if I put my earbuds in, it'll make the video recording. Okay, so here we're gonna set this up. Sorry, I wasn't really prepared for this video, but here we go. So when if you're doing massage or you're even trying to self-analyze your own posture, okay? So what we're gonna say our hips. We're gonna check your hips, okay? So my hips are uneven. Probably from the angle of the camera, it's hard to tell. This hip is typically higher. Left side, right side. I'm sorry, I'm bad with my left and right. I will do that probably every time. And then it's worse because I'm looking at you guys. Okay, so my right side is usually a little higher. As I stand, actually, I don't know now. I'm all confused. But so I can't see myself. That's one of my issues too, is I need help with me. But so like, you got a client, you're looking at a human, you see their hip is higher, okay? And you're like, what could cause this? So what you have to think is, what is the body doing? I should have had a skeleton. I should have brought my Michael Jordan skeleton, because that would help. So how I remember the form and function stuff and how to know which muscle to work on, which group. You see that your client's right hip is high. You see it's high. They're standing there, it's high. And you're like, okay, so I see this. Now what? What do I do? And so you have to remember the pelvis has the front and the back, because it doesn't just raise side to side, right? Because we're 3D. So it can also go front and back. So like it can be all sorts of different wacky positions. So we have to remember, that's when we have to know our bony landmarks. So if we see it's high on this side, we're gonna check our bony landmarks in the back, okay? So we got our hips, iliac, that we can check, the crest, our ASIS, but right now we're doing standing, so we'll leave that till later. So like we can just see it's on. So you're gonna go to the back, you're gonna check out the person's PSIS, their back dimples. So if you've ever seen someone with back dimples, that's the PSIS. You're gonna check it and put your hands there, feel it. Is that level? Look at it. Is it high or low on the same side? If it's high on the same side, they're both high on the same side, everything's even, okay? So everything's even, everything's getting pulled. Then another step I'll take is then you're gonna lay the person down, you're gonna shuffle their legs out. I don't know if you've ever done that. If you've done, grab their ankles, shuffle their legs out, check and see, check their malleolus. Right here. How I like to do it is I start at the top and I slide down till my bony finger stops. So I'm pushing kind of hard. So until I stop. And I do that on both sides for the client. And I'll do it down until I stop. And that's how I gauge if it's even. Because when I try to find like the tip of it or something like that, like I'm never gonna find it. If I try to find the I don't know. So I always start, that's how I do it personally. And so then see if their legs are even, okay? If their legs are even, you know the problem is coming from above the leg. Because what affects the hips? The hip can get affected above, below, or there's some that cross. Okay, so if it's even though, we know it's one or the other, okay? Because it's even, okay? So if we check the legs, and the legs are even, we know the leg muscles are not the problem, okay? So that's checked off the list, not legs. So then it has to be something in the back that's pulling the pelvis up. Because if it's not, if the legs aren't crooked, it's the back pulling it up, okay? So then you just have to go through which back muscles can do that, which hip muscles can pull up both of those sides. And that's when some of your tests will come in. Now say the legs are crooked. So you know it's a leg problem. You're like, oh, okay. So then you just have to think, what muscles could be pulling the leg up? So if the ankles are crooked, maybe look at the knees. Because sometimes you can see then if it's coming from the muscle chunk down here or the muscle chunk up here. But so then you have to know. And then sometimes if you have a smart client or if you're good at verbal communication with your client, you can ask them about an injury or a movement that hurts or makes it feel better. That way you can slowly pinpoint down the muscle group it could be. So like, okay, so now the legs are off. Okay, so it's probably something up here in the hip, pulling it up, maybe in the back and the hamstring. So like, then you have to pinpoint, oh, what motion are they having trouble doing? Where are they limited? Oh, they can't do this? Well, this muscle group does this. You don't even have to know what muscles are in there. You can put your hand there and you can feel it moving. You're like, oh, this muscle does this. It hurts when I do this. And this muscle makes my leg longer if I stretched it out. So it's probably this muscle that's pulling my leg short. Which this is our glute minimus and TFL muscle is right here. It's a big muscle group, a big conspirator in leg shortening. And so you can even work on that yourself. Sit down. Sitting is actually a really good way to work on this, even for a client. Or a friend, if your friend's leg is short and they want it worked on. It's right here in between. Here's my ASIS. And here's my humeral head is right in here. So right in between your ASIS, that's like the pointy hip bones that people have right in the front. So that's your ASIS. And then your humeral head, you move your leg around, you can feel it moving. That's your humeral head where all those things are attached. And right in between those, my friend Molly taught me that. Thanks, Molly. Right in between those is where the glute minimus and the TFL, you can feel a big band. If you push your fingers in there and push back and forth, you can feel a big snappy, almost like band in there. That's your TFL muscle. Underneath that, if you kind of push it around and feel, there's your glute min. Easy angle if you're sitting down, easy to work on a client. You can work through clothes, you can work under clothes, whatever you want to do, whatever's the easiest. That will, a lot of times, so like you have to figure out where they're limited, what they're having problems with. But first thing I do is you have to see where it's coming from. Okay, so that was if it was even on both sides. So now say, another thing, like so say you're checking PSIS in the back and you have them bend over and you're going to look at your own hands, your fingers where you're holding that. Did one thumb go higher than the other? That'll tell you their leg's higher. That's a leg problem, because when they bend over like that, it's all leg. Literally, it's all leg. So if their leg is literally longer and it's not a muscle problem, your thumb will be higher on one side than the other. And then muscles are going to be involved too, because if your leg's longer, like it's going to funk up your muscles. So we know that it can't be fixed by muscle treatment. And it should be referred out because now it's bone and we don't do bone, we do soft tissue. But that's a way to tell. We can still treat their soft tissue until the bone doctor can help them out, but we aren't going to be able to fix their crooked hips. Another thing is sacrum. That was an interesting part of the seminar. So our sacrum, during the seminar, Doug did this cool thing. I'm going to use my shoes. He used people. So the sacrum, he put this girl in the middle and then him and the other person stood on the side. But if you look at the sacrum, if you pull up a picture of it, it's two big bones and then the sacrum is in the middle, surrounded, okay? So it's like our tailbone, the coccyx, like the little like cuppy piece, like in your butt, like that's our sacrum, okay? So that area right there, that cuppy bone with our tailbone, that can move. That can get pulled up and down different directions like this. And because it can move independently of the two pieces, it can be twerked while the other pieces are still trying to be straight. So your sacrum and your tailbone are all twerked. And here's your ilium and your iliac crest. And they're like, no, we're trying to be straight hips and the sacrum's getting twerked by something. And it can be off, which will pull off, and your spine is on top of your sacrum. So if your sacrum gets twerked and your hips are trying to be straight still, then your spine's going to be all confused and not know what to do on top of yourself. And it's going to give you back problems, and that's no good. So one way to check for this also is with the PSIS, and you'll see they'll be crooked. So this is when you're standing, or with the client's standing, and you'll get at eye level with their PSIS. You'll put your thumbs on them. You rest your fingers. I like to rest my hands on the iliac crest, hip bones on the top. And then I slide my thumbs down into find their PSIS. And I kind of like hold myself steady. And then I look, is one higher than the other? Is their sacrum twisted inside their pelvis? If it is, what muscles do that? What muscles pull on the sacrum? What direction is it being pulled on? Is it being pulled just one? So then you and then that's where you just have to know. And a lot of times, okay, I'm going to tell you a secret. A lot of times I don't know all the muscles, but if you see it's twisted, this is where fascial work and feeling with your hands comes in super handy. You put your hands on the person. I don't know if any of you guys have done this kind of fascial work before. You work on it with yourself because you can feel your own tightness. An exercise I like to do is I will lay down and do it when you're standing. Like you can do it but you got to be really like mindfully still. It's almost like a meditation thing. And I don't know if you guys know this, but fascia goes like everywhere in our body, twines in our muscles. It's like intermixed in the fibers and around our bone. Like it goes everywhere. It's connective tissue. It's in between our skin and then our fascia, and it connects our muscle, and but then it goes around and wraps, and it's everywhere. And the crazy thing is it's all connected. There's no start and stop. It's all one continuous sheet. So if you're tight, you can literally pull on your ankle, and if you're mindful enough, you can feel the fascia sheet pulling on the muscle fibers, and which fibers it's getting stuck in, and what those fibers are connected to, and why that's torquing the body joints in certain directions. So let me give you an example. I will have a client or myself start. Say you're doing it on yourself, okay? Lay down. You can put your hand maybe, I'm tight here. I get really tight here. I had an injury, so I'm really tight here. So find your tight spot. Start with the easy one. You know, you want to start where it's easy. Put your hand down lower. Kind of sink in. Push, like, sink in to their body, because the fascia goes in and deep. Then feel another point. Pull here. See if you can feel it pulling down here. Where do you feel it pulling? Where do you feel it getting stuck? Can you feel inside your body where it's getting stuck? Can you feel outside your body where it's getting stuck inside your body? Practice that, because you can feel it on yourself, so then you can practice having your hands feel it on someone else. It's a mind game. You have to use both sides of your brain at the same time, because one part of your brain has to monitor your internal system, and one part of your brain has to monitor like your external and what you're feeling externally. And you practice this on yourself. That way you can tell yourself yes, no, yes, no. And when you, then I'll look at pictures of the muscles in the body, because I'll be like, I feel tightness pulling deep in here, but it feels like, and it's like, I can feel it. And so then I'll go look at the pictures, and then I'll learn about it. And then I learn what that feeling feels like. Okay, so when I feel tightness here, and I feel that it's pulling in the person's hip here, now I know if I release that, it will let go of that pull. I don't have to know any muscle names. I don't have to know anything. Then when you practice feeling where the tension is, you can feel what the counterbalance needs to get it to let go. The body's a bunch of counterbalances. We want to be even. If we're pulling here, we're going to try to counterbalance. We're going to strain our body, and like it wants to let go. It wants to spring back into even. And our job is to help it, okay? Because we don't want to be fighting ourselves. We learned this cool thing from one of our instructors, Tom, a body release. And once I learned that, I had already been feeling like this suspicion about working on opposite sides of the body at the same time to work faster, and like help it, and because it likes that balance. And when he taught us that, I was like, dude, I knew it. And so I started working on counterbalancing myself. Ooh, right there, my body did not like that. When I push here, and I push, what is that? The posterior anterior surface of my humeral head, right around in there, under my gluteal crease, my body freaks out. It starts to tense up, because that's its release point. But to get it to release, I'd have to be relaxed and calm, and I don't know if I can do it to myself. I've been practicing it. It works a little bit at a time, but don't just work in one spot. I know that a lot of times they teach you, for strength. You don't need strength for these moves. That's the crazy part. You do need strength. You need holding strength. Most of these moves aren't really massage moves. They're holding releases, and they're finding that you pull on something big, and you see a skeleton, you see an anatomical position, you see how it's all supposed to lay out, okay? Feel why it doesn't feel why you want to see what you want to see. Like, you want to see this, you're feeling this. What do I have to do? Where is that tension coming from? Where is that spring loaded that if we release it, it'll go back to anatomical position? Usually it'll come from an injury, a trauma, something they're guarding, stress, tension. Where are they holding it? Are they holding it forward? Are they holding it backward? Are they trying to be big and brave and strong, and so they're opening up too much, trying to show they're not afraid of anything? They probably need a release in their back as well. It's not as much in front, because they're already too front open. They need that back release. Are they hiding? Are they scared? They need the front release. Boom. Open it up. Let go of that spring. They get hurt in their hip. Are they curled up trying to protect that pain? Hip release. Boom. Where are they hiding? Where are they guarding? Their shoulder. Did they get their shoulder? Is their shoulder like, are they are they, what do they need? Where's that release? Where? Feel it. Pull on it. Feel the neck muscles. Feel, where is that tension? Oh, here. Sometimes the shoulder has this weird release. I don't know if well, that's another day. But you have to feel where it's coming from. That way you know where to push. It makes me think of acupuncture. And maybe that's what it's doing. Maybe that's what acupuncture is doing. But I like the human, hands-on connection. That I am there if they need me. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I think it's cool. But so yeah, so hips being off. Yeah, I think I kind of covered the idea. Have questions? Message me. I can maybe make another video because I know I probably opened up a can of worms, not closed one. But just be careful. Humans are delicate. Humans are in pain. Humans hurt. Go slow. Don't push. Go slow. And when you think you're going slow enough, you're probably going too fast, especially if someone's in pain. And holding is literally holding. It's not even almost massage therapy anymore. It's hold therapy. I think of it as the muscles need a hug. They've been scared for so long. They don't need a rub like, oh, you did good. They're like, I'm already overstimulated. Just leave me alone. Don't touch me. They need a hug. They need someone to wrap them up, someone to hold them, to put that pressure on them, to tell them it's okay to let go. It's okay to let go. I'm here. I got you. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to hold you. And I'm not going to let go. And as soon as you let go, I can hold you some more. And you can just let go. And I'm not going to stop holding you. And there's something about that deep hold of a person's limb. The more of your body you can get on them while you're holding their limb, if you can, like, even if it's their arm, wrap your arm up and around. Really hold it. I love to, like, wrap people's, it helps them release. If they feel, the more control that they feel like you're in and that you have, the easier it is for them to let go and trust you. Be confident. Practice with people you're comfortable with if you need to. And then just imagine the people that are coming to you, they already trust you or they wouldn't have picked you. They probably looked you up. They probably looked at your face. They probably heard about you. They're probably already more comfortable because they don't know a bunch of this stuff. They don't even know to be scared or worried or nervous. So you have to be comfortable for them. You have to be strong. You have to be brave. You have to be confident. You have to help them through this because they have no idea what's going on. And it's our jobs to be that for them. I love you guys. He loves you more. Be safe. Go slow. Have a great day.